And welcome back once again. Another great live reaction show to the playoff rankings. I'm here with Randell as always, and Coty will be joining us as soon as he gets home. So his invite's there, so he'll just randomly pop on in once he gets home. And once again, we're getting on a little early, so send in questions. We can do a little. I'm sure I have an idea in my head where we'll go with this first 15 minutes. If it stays that direction, who knows?
There's so much to get into.
Exactly. There's so much to get into. I want to talk about conference championship games, but there's the crazy coaching. So I kind of want to leave coaching for the end, but I kind of want to just get right into it, especially with some things we just read just like a minute ago. I'm going to leave my phone up on Twitter, apparently, because there might be another coaching name popping around.
I got mine with me.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of want to get right into it. But first, I guess maybe take a quick look back at last week, because, I mean, some important things kind of happened.
Right.
So I think the biggest, well, I don't know. Which do you want to consider the biggest? Miami going down or Alabama? I think Alabama has to be the biggest one.
Yeah, I think Alabama's the biggest one, just because their reputation and honestly, if you came into this season saying, one team's going to come out of this thing undefeated, most people would have assumed it was going to be Alabama.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that was definitely the biggest one, but Miami's right there with them, right there with them.
Yeah, I mean, Miami has the better. This is crazy. I mean, I think it's weird to say Miami has the easier way back in. I don't want to say easier because it's not like playing Clemson's easy.
No.
But a win and they're in. It's that simple for Miami. I feel like it has to be. Alabama, on the other hand, it's not so simple since they are done playing, and there are things that need to happen. So I know we'll definitely talk about it more when the rankings actually come out to see where they are, because that will play an important part on how much, help they need. If they're sitting there at 5, I don't think they need as much help as maybe we think. If they're sitting there at 6, I think that's a big story on what the committee will finally look at their strength of schedule that they've been bashing on Wisconsin for. Is Alabama's strength of schedule really that great? I mean, granted, they scheduled Florida State, which 1-2. That was supposed to be the biggest game, but looking back, is that really that great of a game now?
Yeah. They had Mercer.
They had Mercer, yeah.
Yeah, because
Citadel was South Carolina. Clemson, yeah.
Clemson had Citadel.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, interesting.
I honestly, at this point, I really don't see a way they can get back in it. Unless just for some reason the committee is just in love with them, which, I mean, that very well could be. I don't see a way in unless literally they just love them for some reason.
I think the two biggest things will be TCU has to win for them to get in. Because I don't see TCU getting in, even if they win the Big 12.
Right.
I mean, they need a lot to happen if they get in.
Yeah.
And if Ohio State wins, but the committee doesn't really believe in Ohio State, if they take their bad loss, if they take that Iowa loss into more consideration, because, hey, I mean, Ohio State got in with, not winning it that one year with just one loss. Is that kind of the situation we'll see? That's the only way. Ohio State has to win, and TCU has to win. But with that, Ohio State needs to be sitting low enough to where, maybe that will give them that argument where they're going to really put Alabama and Ohio State right there next to each other and go, what's more important? And hey, I mean, it's interesting because, the whole Saban last year when Ohio State got in, he was bashing on, you need to win a conference championship, not sneaking in like this, whatever. And then now he's obviously, I understand he's now he's the coach in that position. Now he's like, I think the best team should be in, and we're one of the best teams, regardless of championship. Yeah, now you're kind of stuck yourself in a hole because you said that last year. I get lobbying for yourself now, but you kind of looks bad. Lane Kiffin. I don't know if you saw Lane Kiffin quoting one of those tweets and saying, "Can you rat poison yourself?"
That was good stuff. Let me. Do you? So let's assume Ohio State beats Wisconsin. Are you putting them in?
I don't know. I think they need a little help.
Some other stuff,
yeah, because I think ACC champs in, SEC definitely. Champs in. If Ohio State's in, OU wins, they're in. So that's 3. So that really will kind of come down to Bama, Ohio State. I really do think that's Ohio State's in will be to compete versus versus Bama, and that conference champion be a big thing. And I think they need to beat Wisconsin, not like bad. I don't think it needs to be a blowout, but I think they do need to beat them pretty decent to kind of really help it a little bit.
Yeah.
Not saying they don't, because I know one of the big arguments is they don't play a full 4 quarters all the time. The Penn State, they just won by the 4th quarter. They held in and then they won the 4th quarter. That's kind of been some of the things that could be held against them. And with the committee, that could be a thing. They're like, oh, nope, didn't play well enough through the whole game. Nah. But that's kind of why they held Miami back for a while. Granted, they were also doing it versus teams they should blow out until it became a big primetime night game.
Right.
So that's another problem for Miami. But once again, Miami kind of has that way in because one loss in a conference championship looks a lot better. And the committee hasn't put a 2-loss team in.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of goes back to Bama's favor. I don't know. That's what I'm back and forth on. I think where Ohio State and Bama stand will be a big determination. And Wisconsin, honestly. If Wisconsin if they're 3, I think that helps Ohio State. If they're 4, I think that helps Bama. Just that one spot. I think it really does make a difference right there because that's just a determination on how well they actually will consider that Wisconsin win now that they are undefeated in the conference championship.
Let me ask you this.
All right.
What has to happen in order for our boys, UCF, to get in this thing? What has to happen?
There needs to be someone in that room who is threatening everyone that they cannot leave until they put UCF in. As much as I don't like saying that, that's what has to happen. They give it's true. As much as I want UCF in there, I see I'll give them a 1% chance because they don't want them in. The committee does not want an outside the Power 5 team in. They do not want that. That's going to throw off everyone. And look at all the people in the committee. They're Power 5 people.
Also, if UCF wins this week, Memphis is really good, man. Memphis is really good.
And UCF will beat them twice.
Yeah.
That USF team is not bad either.
Run the table and 3 top 25 wins.
That's Bama right there. Bama has 3 top 25 wins right now.
And
UCF will have 3 top 25 wins.
I was going to say how much harder is that schedule, honestly. But it's quite a bit.
It is hard. It is harder. I'm not saying it's not harder. But just saying, if you want to say, like you said, top 25 wins, well, there you go. If they win, they'll have 3. Well, I guess that's not true since Memphis or USF wasn't ranked, which I didn't understand why they weren't ranked. They should have been.
They may as well have been.
USF should have been ranked. Should have been like 24th to 25th. They had 1 loss. And they started the year, I think, at 20, didn't they? In the AP, at least. They started the year at a decent ranking.
No, you know what it was USF was – are you talking about USF?
Yeah, USF started the year ranked.
USF was 20 they were either 22 or 24 because Texas was 23, and they were either 1 ahead or 1 below us, and I can't remember which one it was.
Well, and USF got up to what, 17, I think, in the AP. So
they're 15 right now in it.
No, right? USF.
Oh, USF. Gotcha.
At one point, they were up to like 17.
Yeah, they were up pretty high for a while.
So people respected that they were a good team from the beginning of the year, and 1 loss, that happens. It's not like that Houston loss. I don't know if anyone saw it. I know it's probably hard to be like, yeah, I watch all the American Athletic Conference games. But they lost because they threw up like a Hail Mary that somehow got caught in the pile of something. And then next thing you know, they ran another play and it ended up a touchdown. Houston won. 2 like freak plays and Houston beat USF. So there you go. USF could have been undefeated in that game.
Right.
Granted, I know what ifs. Oh, well, yeah, what if this, and Miami would have been undefeated. What if, there's a lot, obviously, I'm not trying to get into that game, but USF, I'm saying, is not a bad team. Everyone saw that from the beginning of the year. Memphis, not a bad team. They're going to have to play Memphis again. You don't think Memphis is going to be mad about getting blown out? And UCF blew them out. So, just saying. But in the end, I don't see any of these playoff committee members even wanting them near. I think, honestly, their ceiling, I'm looking at it because, Bama, even with the loss, isn't falling out of the top 10. Miami's not falling out of the top 10. The only team falling out of the top 10 is Notre Dame.
And, what I would like to see statistics-wise is obviously it can't happen because they're not going to get in, but what the difference between viewers would be if UCF gets in there versus a Clemson or something like that, opposed to Clemson versus a team that, everyone's thinking, yeah, they'll probably, do you think that UCF being in it would raise the viewership just because it's what? UCF's in there? Or do you think everyone would be like, I'm not watching this. This game's over?
I think it would depend on who it knocked out.
To me,
if they knocked out Bama, I think it'd raise it. People are like, yeah, take that, Bama. You're not in. Let's see what UCF has. If it's, I think, honestly, any of the other teams, I think people are just going to be more upset.
To me,
but if it's Bama, I could see everyone else, obviously, but Bama fans, rallying around UCF and being like, yeah, let's keep Bama out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to love, even the teams in are going to love seeing that. They're like, yeah, let's keep Bama out of the playoffs. Let's go.
In my mind, if I'm a viewer who, obviously, either way, we're going to watch both college football playoff games.
Yeah.
Either way, that's happening. But if I'm a viewer who it's like, all right, I only have time to watch one of these games, and I see a number 1 Clemson versus a number 4 UCF and a number 2 Oklahoma versus Georgia or whatever it could be.
Yeah.
I'm watching UCF. That's just more of a, I can see what happens in Oklahoma, Georgia later. I want to see this UCF game right now, and I'm just wondering if that would be the mindset of the viewers or not. It'd be interesting to see.
If you are watching or will be watching, once the rankings kick in, I know usually people do actually start getting in. Or right now, UCF fan actually leaving a comment. We are on your side, Tyler.
Oh yeah, man. We've been.
They have to beat Memphis 49-0, and honestly, they just about.
It might need to be more than that.
Time. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of some bold predictions here. He says Georgia will win, TCU wins, Clemson wins, Wisconsin wins, and USC wins. And he's going bold and saying USC's jumping all the way in at 4.
If you like USC at all, you're watching the wrong show.
Oh, he's a USC fan. My bad. I read that wrong.
No. Oh.
I thought, my bad, Tyler. I read it.
I thought he was saying UCF.
Fan.
Well, just a heads up. We're not huge USC fans here. I'm a Texas fan. Naturally, I'm not very happy with you currently.
I won't be as, hard. I'm sorry, Pac-12's done. I'm just going to say that. I think the Pac-12 is going to win. Notre Dame ran over USC. That's the problem. If that was a close loss, I think USC might have an argument. But now that Notre Dame's kind of shooting down, it's looking even worse with that loss. So that's I think the Pac-12 eliminated themselves on that game, especially then with now Washington State just getting destroyed by Washington. I don't know. I think it would have helped USC if Washington State would have made it in, so they could have got that redemption on that loss. Now that they're playing Stanford again, not anything against Stanford. I've been obviously a huge Bryce Love fan from the beginning. I think it would have been a better win if they would have got to face Washington State again and really took it to them too. So, all right. Hey, I'll give you this. He says he has a little piece of his heart that thinks there's a chance. I will give you, if they can get in the top 10, I will give you that just sliver of a miracle because you never know. Weird things have happened. Weird things have definitely happened. If you can take it to Stanford on Friday night, only game on Friday night, maybe that'll be an impact enough. Who knows? If someone in there has a voice in the room for USC, I don't think they'd be opposed to it, especially with the Rose Bowl being one of the sites.
let's I could see a scenario where UCF and USC both get in if all 4 teams that should make it have play ineligible players in their conference championship game, and they all get disqualified. But knowing how the NCAA works, they'd take 2.5 years to investigate and then never actually do anything. Baylor. Sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This will be interesting because
that game on Friday night is on his birthday. That'll be a good little birthday present for you there, man.
Yeah. Hopefully it does live up to what you want up in Frisco. So location is Stanford heavy, but it's USC, so it's going to be more of a home game for USC, obviously.
Yeah.
Interesting that I obviously it's a brand new stadium. They're like, oh, yep, that's the location. So I'm not saying opposed to the location. Granted, also with like the Washingtons and Oregons, that's a good placement. I've always actually thought for the Pac-12. Some of these other conference championships, I mean, you can make pros and cons on where they're located. I'm actually kind of interested, like OU TCU. I mean, granted, I know it's a conference champion, so it's split, but it's right here in Arlington. I mean, it's 30 minutes from TCU. Not like OU fans won't travel. Not what I'm saying with that. It's just sometimes interesting where these locations are, and I know it's not to help any team. It's just usually it's the nice shiny stadium is getting it, or some conferences that home team host, which those are the smaller ones, which makes sense. Smaller conferences definitely keep it home team advantage because why go to a neutral site when you're probably not going to sell out then? Yeah. Smart business.
You know, with the Stanford USC too, I'm just glad that they're putting it where everyone can see it. You don't get to see Stanford and USC that much unless you're on the West Coast. It's too late, man. It's too late. What was the West Coast game that we stayed up till like 2:30 in the morning?
Oh, that was Washington State USC.
Was it? Yeah,
that was Wazoo USC because I really wanted to see that game.
Yeah, and like we were both like about to pass out. At one point, I remember saying, I was like, if this goes into another overtime, I'm done.
Or if it goes to overtime. If it goes to overtime,
it didn't go to overtime. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And it's at 7:00 Central Time. So hey, and that also gives you, Tyler, a lot of after birthday fun after the game. Hopefully, if USC wins,
you'll either get happy. Well, never mind. We don't know how old he is, but fair. Never mind.
Yeah. Pablo. I remember. Yep, you did say South Carolina was going to beat Clemson. I'm sorry for your loss there. It wasn't as good as it could have been.
Happens, man. Happens.
I'm really interested. South Carolina has the QB that I'm still interested in his future. He's a young guy. I know they tried to say like I remember reading an article back like he's rigged the system because he graduated early from high school and now he can graduate college, or not graduate college. He can leave college earlier and get into the NFL.
Was that him? I remember.
Yeah, that was him.
Okay, I remember this, but I didn't know it was.
Yeah. So I mean, that'll be interesting. So I don't know. So I'm just saying that was a interesting thing. I mean, he obviously has to prove a lot more before that could actually happen. Because you're making a big deal. I was like, nothing against him. I do think he's an interesting prospect, but I was like, he's not there yet. So let's calm down on it before we go.
The last time I legitimately followed South Carolina and remember exactly what happened during their season was when Connor Shaw was the quarterback. That's like the last time I can really remember being like, I
remember South Carolina too vividly from the Jadeveon Clowney hit still.
You're right. Shaw was already gone by then, wasn't he?
No, that
was he. Was
Pablo,
that as last year?
You're in our comments. You're a South Carolina dude. Did they overlap? We're on you for that for research.
Yeah, I feel like Clowney's freshman year was probably like Shaw's last year or something like that.
I think they overlapped.
And then Marshawn Lattimore was in there, or not Marshawn Lattimore. What was the Lattimore?
The running back.
Marcus Lattimore.
The running back with the knees that just went
with the lack of knees.
So bad for him. He was so good.
Yeah, he was. He was really good. He had a chance with the 49ers too.
Yeah, they took a shot on him, but it was just too much. Oh, we will definitely get to this later because we obviously both really want to get to the coaching carousel, but Jackson here, rip Dan Mullins, dead to me.
Oh,
I don't blame you, man. I also understand his ties to Florida. That was a good fit in my opinion, but hey, I get it. He definitely raised Mississippi State up, and I definitely understand being mad. Oh, here we go. Rankings already coming out. Fresno State 25. Okay. They're sneaking in. They beat Boise State, and they're playing each other again for the conference championship, by the way. NC State back at 24. Mississippi State still holding in at 23, even after losing Fitzgerald, and that was a nasty injury. Don't watch it if you don't like nasty injuries. Oh, thank you, Pablo. Yes, they were on the same team.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's what I thought. Virginia Tech still at 22, so that helps ACC teams out. Northwestern sitting at 21. You got to give it's Pat Fitzgerald there. Northwestern, he does a lot with the little.
Yeah.
They're at Northwestern.
Northwestern is always one of those sneaky teams, man.
They're
like even if they're on the top 25.
Too. I mean, obviously being a private school, but they're a really small school and obviously hard academics. 9 wins is a great year.
Throwing out the academics. I like it, Dom.
Hey,
we're more than just sports on this show.
You are student athletes here. Academics matter. Hey, are we going to start throwing his name out there? He's doing a lot at Northwestern with a little, man. Should his name be thrown out there? Just saying. Memphis doesn't move at all. 20, of course.
20, yeah. Oklahoma State, 19.
Washington State, 18. LSU, 17. Michigan State, 16. This is what's going to happen. Washington's going to steal some of UCF's ground they could have jumped.
Right.
So, Memphis, Oklahoma State both stayed the same. LSU got 1 spot. Michigan State stayed the same. Oh, and also Stanford's going to have a big jump here. And Notre Dame is not out of the top 15. So guess what? UCF probably didn't move at all. If anything, maybe 1 spot.
Man, that makes me so mad.
Notre Dame better be 15 because UCF should not be below Notre Dame. Don't even. No, Notre Dame is not better than UCF. I'm saying that. I know I'm been UCF happy, and I'm sure they might not handle well versus teams. Thank you. They at least moved up 1 spot. Notre Dame 15.
No,
UCF got 1 spot.
UCF deserves to be in the top 10.
They only got 1 spot. Of course they did. Did you not watch that game last night or the other night, committee? That was a good game. UCF won that game. Hard-fought game. That's a big rivalry.
I bet they didn't watch it. I guarantee
they did. No, they didn't watch it. Washington.
I don't like you guys.
Washington 13, Stanford 12, TCU 11. That's what I figured with Washington State with the big win. And they took Washington State's spot. Stanford, I knew they were going to jump in there. I mean, I like Bryce Love, but that helps.
TCU saying under the top 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Under the top 10 gives me, if they beat OU, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, TCU's not in. And, hey, I'll give you this about USC. Stanford moving up that much helps you. So, just saying, you're in the top 10 now. You are in the top 10 now.
We got some very angry viewers in the comments section.
Yeah. Also, I do agree with Memphis not moving at all. That really hurts them. That would have been another win, beating them again. But, yeah, UCF's done. That's stupid. Give them at least top 10. Just give them 10. Even if you have you are never going to put them in the bowl in the top 4. At least put them 10. Come on. If they win out, they're in a New Year's 6. You might as well give them a decent ranking.
Right.
So that's whatever. So I'm wondering, does USC jump Penn State at all? They're probably not. So that means USC is 10, Penn State's 9. Ohio State only goes up to 8 probably. But, of course, that's just my thought.
Yeah.
That's what I also think is going to happen. So, I mean, that's why I could see Stanford and Washington jumping, especially because head-to-head wins are huge. They are taking that into massive consideration if they put a 3-loss Stanford over a 2-loss Washington.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this. How mad does it make you seeing Washington right there above UCF?
It's the blowout hurt it.
Dom is a Washington hater.
This year, I didn't mind him last year. I do not like him this year at all. Jake Browning, not good.
All right, 10, we got USC.
That's what I figured. Penn State's going to get 9. They're straight just moving up one by one.
Right.
They're not doing much here. Not saying it won't matter because obviously if USC wins, they're going to jump Penn State because Penn State's not in a championship game. So USC will, if they win, they're at least 9. If Ohio State loses, they're at least 8, bearing any other madness up top.
Right.
So that'll be interesting. I mean, from the hard fall of Notre Dame to at least getting back to 10, though. we did count. Everyone did count USC out very long ago.
Oh, I mean,
but they're back in the top 10. They're back in the top 10 now.
It's just because they have ugly wins.
Yeah.
I mean, their losses aren't bad because they play all their games really close usually. I
do agree with you. I
have a bit of a bias.
Oh yeah, I do agree with you. Angry UCF person, they should be higher. UCF person, I always.
I want top 8.
Trust us, we have been huge on that. And interesting, Wisconsin should be 1. The committee just does not like you, Wisconsin. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen.
And Penn State at 9 didn't.
Yep, this is going to the top 8. I mean, I guess not top 8. 8, 9, and 10. I kind of had an idea on. It's 1 through 7. It's going to be what matters on where everyone stands. That's what matters, because that, like I said, that's where I thought beforehand.
Yeah.
Where Ohio State lands, where Alabama lands, determines, maybe if they have to battle for a spot, I think it will matter, because they're going to have to sit down and really decide. And they're kind of hoping people, like, obviously as a committee, you're just kind of hoping, okay, someone knock you out, we'll get rid of you. That's the nice thing about what's happened some of these times, where how could Wisconsin not be in the top 4? I mean, hey, they're undefeated. Yeah, obviously, I think they get in, but at the same time, the committee's like, all right, well, we're going to have to put Wisconsin in, obviously, if they win. So they kind of have their path, so you don't have to worry about it.
I don't remember them. I mean, maybe I'm just forgetting. Oh, we got Ohio State at 8. Yeah. Maybe I'm just forgetting from last year, but I don't remember them using that, utilizing that as much like last year, where it was like, okay, we know that one of these guys is going to get knocked out, so Wisconsin's going to move up, so we don't need to put them in the top 4 yet. I don't remember them utilizing that.
I don't think they did
last year.
I
think
they
might have not been in that situation where
it is a different group too.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how it was.
Yeah, you would have to definitely look back week by week. But also, at this, there could have been, because there was change in the committee, as they do every so often now that they're playing. It could have just been someone going, hey, let's stop arguing about this and just go, you know what, they're going to knock you out. They're going to get knocked out, or this will align for them perfectly fine, so don't worry about it till the end.
Right.
That's what I kind of think they did with Wisconsin. They're like, obviously they've made the statement they didn't like their strength of schedule, so they're like, we don't like it, but we'll just keep them there at the fringe, and then they'll take care of it themselves.
Miami at 7.
Yep, that's what I thought was going to happen, because Miami has,
if they win
back in, they're in.
If they win, they're in.
Because Clemson's going to be 1. I'm saying it. Clemson's going to be 1. That's what they're going to do.
This comment from one of our viewers is golden. If Alabama's top 4, I'm jumping off something high. Whew.
I mean, I know there was a couple of ESPN people just before that were saying, well, at least I know one person had them in at 4 still. I agree. I agree-ish. I don't have anything high to jump off of. I don't like heights, so I'm not climbing anything high. But yeah, Bama better not be 4, because if they're going to knock Wisconsin for strength of schedule, you better knock Bama, and a loss is knocking them out of the top 4.
Right.
That's my thought. And, that's what I saw, 7 through 20. I kind of saw that coming. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I obviously want UCF higher, but I didn't get a chance to say it. I thought their ceiling was 12 for this rankings. Realistically, 13, 14. They don't want to move them up, and they're not going to. Even if they blow out Memphis, they might get to 11, which is stupid.
Billy.
Yeah.
He asked for a shout out, so I just said his name. There you go, Billy. Asking you shall receive.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, why are you pointing at me? But all right, there you go, Billy. We got you.
Because we are all about the fan base.
Yep. They were number 1, lost to 6. Okay, I get that argument with Bama, but Bama's big wins aren't that big right now.
Right.
Mississippi State and LSU. Mississippi State's staying in. I know Fitzgerald got hurt and it looked ugly in the end, but Mississippi State hasn't looked that great of a team. I mean, they've been back and forth. The 8 wins was a great mark for them to end up at, I think. With some of those weird, they won big and then they got blown out, and they won big and then they got blown out. Not saying it's a bad win, but that and LSU, they don't have the strength as they usually have winning.
Right.
The Florida State game, did not work out very well. I mean, obviously they won. It looked big. Now it just doesn't look like much because of how bad Florida State has been. So here's the rankings. Clemson won. Go. That's like I said. I figured they were going to put one. OU's probably got to be 2 at this point. I think the top 2 had to be pretty for sure.
Yeah, I think it's going OU 2, Wisconsin 3. And I said it.
You know, I still think Auburn's going to jump them. 4. No, I think regardless, one of the SEC teams will jump Wisconsin. I think they're kind of being forced to put Wisconsin in, and I don't think they want to put Wisconsin in. As much, nothing against Wisconsin, from my opinion. Obviously, I understand the strength of schedule is not in their favor, but I really don't think this committee wants Wisconsin in, and they're kind of just being forced to put them in, so they're going to put them in at 4.
Right.
Or I could see that. You know what? I could see Alabama being 4 and Wisconsin being 5, and them still being like, "Prove it, Wisconsin."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, never mind.
Whoa!
Wow. I thought top 2 is pretty for sure. That is
Auburn at 2.
I mean, yeah, you beat number 1, but that's a shot at OU there.
That is a shot. We just had someone comment in the section, Boomer Sooner. I apologize, my friend. Oh. Do you? So I mean, I'm assuming they go OU at 3. Wisconsin. There's no way Wisconsin jumps them there.
OU was 4. I just thought not natural progress. I mean, yes, I get they beat 1, but that is a shot at OU.
It really is.
That is a big shot at OU. So I guess
we got a prediction that Georgia is going to win this weekend and get back in. I actually agree with that. I think Georgia's winning this weekend.
Redemption right there. Well, yeah, I think there was some people that were still concerned about Auburn. I think there was a very few on that, but there were some. That's over. Auburn's easy spot now. Wow.
Yeah.
So we have destroyed the precedent of 2 loss now. That's what the committee just said. 2 loss does not matter. Not saying that they wouldn't have been in winning the SEC championship. That's not what I'm saying. They have been very hesitant on 2 loss teams, and that's over now.
Right.
So Ohio State, they are now saying 2 losses is not, not saying it's allowed. There's OU at 3. Wow, that's rough. OU's going to be
at 3.
I think they're going to knock the crap out of TCU now because of this.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. So I'm rolling on OU now. Some here doing that to them, man. They are a fiery team, and they are the team that gets motivated, and they do play well when they're mad. So all right, committee, you just gave OU a shot right there. I think they're going to show you.
Someone in the comment section, God, this is a good point. Remember, Auburn beat number 1 Georgia and number 1 Bama 2 wins versus number 1 in 3 weeks. I agree, but
that's why I thought Auburn would be 3. I'm just saying 2 losses is still. I mean, they've been. Not saying the losses are bad. They lost to the current number 1 now, and it was a close game. It was a very close game, and then the LSU loss. I mean, LSU's back and forth. It's not a bad loss. Even if that was their only loss, say they didn't play Clemson, then that wouldn't have been a bad loss at all.
Right.
It's still not a bad loss, even being 2. I'm just saying with 2 losses though, they've been very hesitant, and now they honestly are giving Ohio State an in. I think.
Yeah.
I think. Now I think that actually was a bigger thing because there's Wisconsin at 4. I think this gives Ohio State a
Wisconsin
nice, 4. Interesting thing because if Auburn's 2 losses and up there,
get in based off this. This is interesting.
I do, and also we'll see here with Georgia, Bama where they lie because that's 5-6 right here. If Bama's 6, I'm saying if Bama's 6, I think Ohio State will get that last spot if they win.
I think they give Bama 5 just because if Georgia wins this week, they're in.
And that's what they did.
There it is, Bama 5.
And Georgia 6. Yeah, I was going to say not much hiding in that there. Wow. I do agree with the Auburn with the 2 number 1 wins. I mean, I get that. I understand where they're coming from with that. So, but I guess obviously quality wins. I know we've gone through their checklist of things. Quality wins has to be number 1 on their list now, right? That's what they're saying. Quality wins is 1.
Yeah.
because obviously we see what UCF doesn't matter if they're undefeated. Wisconsin, they kind of force their hand in. An undefeated Power 5 team, if you said at any point a Power 5 team would be ranked 4th at the end of the year and they were undefeated,
yeah,
how crazy would you have been if you said that in the past 5 years?
Right. And just we got people asking in the comment section. Just to recap, so 10's USC, 9 is Penn State, 8 is Ohio State, 7 Miami, 6 Georgia, 5 Bama, 4 Wisconsin, 3 is OU, 2 is Auburn. So Auburn jumped OU, and then 1 is Clemson.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, Kerryon Johnson's hurt. That'll be interesting too. How bad? So
bring in what was the kid from Eastern Mississippi or whatever that's in the Netflix show?
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah.
I can't think of his name. He is incredibly fast, so give him that. But
why is Ohio State always high? Because they have Urban Meyer. That committee loves Urban Meyer. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean Ohio State's a very weird team right now. They got whooped by Iowa, and then they come back and just miss Michigan State was nothing apparently. Oklahoma, that loss, can't forget about that again. Top 4 again, it is Wisconsin 4, OU 3, Auburn 2, and Clemson 1. Ah, man, I mean, we got some Tigers.
I'm still pretty surprised that Auburn jumped OU. I get.
Oh, he transferred to FAU. That's who you're talking about. The EMCCQB you were talking about.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Because
Lane Kiffin grabbed him.
Did he actually play this year? Or?
I don't know. Would he? No, yeah, JUCO should play right away.
Should have stayed in Scuba.
Hey,
Scuba, Mississippi.
Hey, FAU should be ranked. Should have been ranked 20. Hey, if they win, I mean, hey, they won the Conference USA, and they've won like 9 straight. They're only 3 are out of conference games, but just saying, could be 2 SEC teams. Yeah, it definitely could be because I still see the argument that if Auburn won, you know what? Regardless, Georgia Auburn wins, doesn't matter. And Wisconsin loses, I could still see them putting Alabama in and pulling Ohio State on Ohio State. It's happened last year.
Yeah.
It happened last year. And if they don't think Ohio State's wins are that great, Oh, he did play a little bit. There you go.
Oh, the kid
he's a receiver. He's a receiver now.
I bet they ran a lot of bubble screens.
A lot of jet sweeps, too.
Jet sweeps and bubble screens, I'm sure.
Here we go.
Tavon Austin roll.
We got a question that I guess I kind of started answering, actually, without noticing. If Ohio State beats Wisconsin, does Ohio or Alabama make it in? I am really split now.
It depends on what else happens, but
even if the if top 3 win, it's 1, 2, 3 win, they're in. Wisconsin loses. Let's just look at it like that. It depends on how Ohio State wins. I think a little bit. It does depend a little bit how they win because they do have the Penn State win. They had the Michigan State win. I mean, I know other than that, I guess you can count Michigan. That was a rough game. John O'Corn is not good. But
you know what I think it depends on? if Auburn wins. Because if Auburn wins, then they have a 2-loss team in there.
Yeah.
If I could see them then putting Ohio State in there. Because then they're like, look, we already have 1 2-loss team in there. What's the difference?
Yeah.
If Georgia won, then you have all 1-loss teams, and then would you jump a 2-loss team at that point and have your only 2-loss team have jumped a 1-loss Alabama? I don't see them wanting to do that.
Here we go. This is what I needed. Thank you, ESPN, actually, for helping ones. It's comparing Bama, Ohio State. Obviously, we know the record. Strength of win-losses, Bama's 6, Ohio State's 11th. Wins versus college football top 25, Alabama's 3-1, Ohio State's 2-1. Strength of schedule played, 46 on Bama, 50 on Ohio State. But Ohio State's going to get Wisconsin, and that'll be a win. Man, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one because I don't, like you said, the 2 loss does open it up for Ohio State a lot more. Not saying that Auburn wasn't going to be in the top 4 because State, like we said earlier, they have 2 number 1 wins. That's a top 4 team. But are we going to put 2 in? I don't know. I could also see them being like, we don't want 2 in. And they already did it with last year with Ohio State making it. They counted that big win versus OU so much.
See, I think we have the opposite ideas on that. You think that if they put in a 2-loss team, there's no way they'll put in another 2-loss team. In my mind, I'm thinking if they put a 2-loss team in there, then who do they care if there's 2-loss teams in there? Like, I feel like if it's 1, 2, 3 or 1-loss teams, I think they're going to want to stick with that 1-loss team in the top 4. But if there's a 2-loss Auburn, they're like, who cares?
Yeah. Man, it's going to be interesting. Bama, hey, I mean, we wanted madness and we got it. We have a 1-loss Bama not in a conference championship game. That means a lot. Yeah. That definitely means a lot. Regardless of whoever the committee pits, they will get roasted. You are correct.
Not only by everyone on Twitter, but by us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I would, man, it's hard because I don't obviously want Ohio State in as a Michigan fan. But if, say, Ohio State made it in, I would kind of want someone to be recording Nick Saban at that moment. That would be very interesting, just saying, because he made that big argument now for his team. Man, that's interesting. Auburn should be 1. No, they will not, because Clemson beat Auburn, and they definitely have set that precedent. I'm just going to tell you that. I get the argument of beating 2 number 1s. Probably any other time, 2 number 1 wins gets you number 1. Yeah. But they
have 2 losses.
I'm not even taking the 2 losses. I'm saying they have shown from the very beginning, head-to-head is that is up there too. Yeah. That is very up there, because that has obviously why Ohio State's always sat just above Penn State, even before they had that chance of making before they clinched the Big Ten East. But no, yeah, Clemson, they've shown it everywhere in the rankings. If you have a head-to-head over someone, that's why Stanford's over Washington, even with 3 losses. They won that head-to-head. Notre Dame's always sat above USC until now, because that couple losses since then. But with that win Clemson has over Auburn, that's a different that matters a lot. And you know what? Would we see a rematch of that game? There's a high chance of that right now. Yeah. Auburn and Clemson again.
You know what else? We said Kerryon Johnson is hurt right now. And literally, I know I've read it 2 or 3 times now, but I just think every time I feel like it's something that needs to be read. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee protocol, Conference Championships 1, strength of schedule, head-to-head competition, then comparative outcomes of common opponents, and the last thing is other relative factors such as key injuries that may have affected team's performance during the season or likely will affect its postseason performance.
That's how Clemson's got when they first took that loss to Syracuse. They gave them that pass for not having Kelly Bryant in the second half.
And every time I see this, something that bothers me about that list is they don't have them ranked. They're put in bullet points. They're not put in, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. And they need to rank this so we know what is most important to y'all. And then we can people who go on and predict it, we try to predict it some. People who go on ESPN, who go on YouTube, who go on podcasts, they know what they're looking at, so everyone can look at the same thing. We can all get on the same page, and people aren't ticked off. I would love to see UCF in the top 4. They're an undefeated team, but strength of schedule, head-to-head. Give us a nice little list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is most important? So we know, please.
Yeah, and I know, like you said, they're just bullets, and it's not actually ranked. But if conference championships, the first thing that's said, is that obviously what matters? I don't think it is, because we've kind of seen that it didn't last year. So
Yeah,
You know?
which we got two questions.
Yeah.
One Cameron Schlegel uh, messaged, which network is going to pick this show up? Probably not ESPN, because literally almost every week we put a little
Jab.
we throw a few little jabs at ESPN.
They're going to have some more cutbacks after this
They are.
December, by the
That's
way.
going to be. It's in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, around the nice
Yeah.
holiday season.
Yep.
Jab, jab,
That's right.
jab, jab at
They
ESPN.
cut
Jab.
they cut the week before Christmas. That's what
Yeah.
it is. They're going to cut a bunch of people that everyone loves, just like last time, the week before
E News. Hey,
Christmas.
you know what? I'll take it.
E News. I'm not too fond of what's the Fox Sports, the FS.
FS.
But I'll take it. I'll go on there. We'll take that. But then a more legit question that I like, off topic, top four. But if Memphis beats UFC, who gets the New York Six bid? UCF has more hype and better wins, but Memphis would have the chip.
That'd be interesting because
that'd be very
they
interesting.
Would split. They would have the split wins, and they're both at UCF, so that's interesting. You know, I think Memphis would get it because I think they will like this be like, yeah, Memphis beat UCLA, and if they win, I think they would. I would. You know what? I think if Memphis wins, obviously, I think that would actually help them. I do agree, though, with the Auburn playing the best football in the country right now. Hey, yeah, that's a good pick to win it all. I don't blame you if you want to pick them all.
I missed that. What did you say?
I was just saying, I think at the moment Auburn is playing the best football in the country right now. Auburn just got off to a bad start, which is why I'm picking them to win it all. Hey, I mean, I'm all on that. I'm just saying that with Clemson having that head-to-head win, they have shown that is an important factor. So that's why I'm fine with Clemson being 1, Auburn 2. Because they have set through the whole rankings that matters. So if you are saying that from the beginning on, that's a very important matter. All right, yeah, Clemson 1, Auburn 2. I'm not arguing that. But UCLA fired their coach, though. Is it legit? Josh Rosen's legit. I say so. I say it's all right. I say it was a good win still. I like Josh Rosen a lot. I think he's my top prospect coming out.
We should use that as transitioning into a little coaching carousel.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's why I'm glad I didn't bring it up in the beginning, because I think I would have talked throughout the rankings about coaching carousel. I don't even.
Wild.
You know what?
Start with UCLA.
I'll start with UCLA. I think the Chip Kelly hire was great.
Oh yeah, I could see
fits West Coast perfectly.
Yeah, depending on how. We've seen how frustrating colleges can be with giving coaches not enough time. He's not going to flip. Rosen's gone.
Yeah, he is.
Rosen's gone.
Oh yeah, he needs to.
He's not going to have him next year.
Yeah.
This is going to take more than. They're not going to win a national championship. Who knows? Maybe they will. But they're not going to become this power, amazing team in 1 year. Give them a few years. I think in 3, 4, 5 seasons, they're going to be one of those teams that we look at. Season in, season out, this could be a top 10 team every season to me with Chip Kelly.
That's why I think there's a better place, because I feel like UCLA will be more patient. If the Florida thing, I feel like Florida's just kind of throwing people out. All right, I'll give you your here out. South Alabama should be number 1 in the country. All right, I heard you out. We're moving on.
I like it though. Bold predictions.
I like it. Yeah, I'll give you that. But I have too many rants stored up about college football coaches. So throw those questions out there if you have any more, because there's like 100 openings. But yeah, I think with his knowledge of the West Coast recruiting system, I think obviously, people want to play for him. We saw that at Oregon, he can put a good system together. I feel like UCLA is more patient with him. I saw the Baylor one. I'm not even gonna. I'm just pretending I didn't see that.
Anyone who's new, he graduated. I'm still going here, but we go to Mary Hardin Baylor, which is a sister school to the University of Baylor, and currently we are a D3 school. We are close to, yeah, we're a powerhouse. We won the national championship in Division III football last year, and we are on the way to making another appearance in the finals, potentially. I would say we are the better Baylor at this point. People would probably much rather go to UMHB than actual Baylor.
Yeah. But, yeah. The only thing I have left on Chip Kelly, yeah, I think Florida would have been too pushy on him. I think Florida's been too pushy. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have moved on, because I think going back to the whole Dan Mullins, hey, I get being upset, but I think Dan Mullins was a good fit. I think Florida and UCLA got their right guys. I think that's going to work out in the longer run for both of them. Dan Mullins knows Florida, obviously being the coach there. I think he'll be a good fit. I feel like he's a very good guy that could really install a good culture on that. But I think Chip Kelly, though, on the other hand, fits the West Coast a lot better. I think going back there in the Pac-12 is a better fit for him. So, that's why I think those two definitely fit well there. And now we have all these other openings. We have remember, Arkansas is still open as well. They're kind of sitting there. Arizona State's talking with Herm Edwards. Tennessee madness here. If they can pull out Gundy, what the heck were they doing? But still, if they are now, they got a meeting with him. Why were you even talking to Schiano? If you got yourself a meeting. You got yourself a meeting with Gundy. Why Tennessee was giving up on their search way too soon. Tennessee is still a decent job. I'm not saying that they are going to pull Gundy out from OK State, but I feel like they gave themselves up too soon. T. Martin's still out there. I think that would have been a good fit. That
would have been fun. That would have been really fun.
That's why I don't understand where Tennessee not even look. Obviously, look, I get people are very upset in like the bigger people saying you're destroying Schiano by this whole thing. I just more think it was just too irrational hiring so quickly, or trying to, and why. I just don't think he fit what they needed at all when there are other options that have interest. Not even going to look at the Penn State. Yes, maybe he didn't know anything. Maybe he really didn't know because, his name was just in a report. He might have not known anything. But, he turned Rutgers from nothing to at least barely above 500. Was he really that great of a pro coach?
They weren't nothing, though. I got pretty fired up about this in our group text. If you go look at that program, they were better than 500 before he got there as a whole. They were like, I think the stat was about 540 something?
Yeah, I think so.
And then he gets there, and they were, in his time, they were 511. He didn't improve that. They were a mediocre team at best. Then he goes to Tampa Bay. He gets 2 years at Tampa Bay. He goes, I think he went 6-10, or it was either 6-10 or 7-9.
He went 4-12 one year.
He went 6-10 or 7-9 the first year, and then the next year 4-12, and he gets fired.
I just don't see him as a head coach.
No,
anymore.
I wouldn't hire him, putting the Penn State stuff aside. But then, even if you look, I get that there wasn't enough evidence or any of that. That's fine. But the fact is, his name got mentioned at all. He's not, like, those allegations are out there. He's not a good coach. Why hire him? It makes no sense to me.
I'm going to take aside the coaching and his possible connection. Not even looking at that. Just the way he treated players in Tampa. Okay, look, I get being a disciplinary guy, a tough coach. He was, I don't know, man. I felt like he was a little too far on some things.
Yeah.
I feel like he was a little, I don't know. Why would a recruit want to play for him? I just don't know about that. Well, I do want to actually answer this one. Mullen turned UF into a national contender, and how soon? I'll give him, I like him though as a coach. I really do. He's done very well at Mississippi State, and I would give him, I know this is sounding weird, I would give him 3 years. I don't know if it sounds weird, long or short.
Wait, are you saying 3 years and they're back?
They're back in consideration. I'm not saying they would win. I'd say they could get their name back to like an SEC championship game.
I'm going to throw this out there. Florida's not going to be good anytime soon, not because of him, but because Miami's back. When you're recruiting in the state of Florida, if you look at Miami, Miami's starting to get it back. They're getting their swagger back. They got the chain. And then you got Florida, who's been kind of a not great, to say the least, lately. And then you got they're Tallahassee, right?
Who? Florida State?
No, Florida.
Florida's Gainesville.
Gainesville. Okay, yeah. You got Gainesville versus Miami. The city of Miami versus the city of Gainesville. The city of Miami wins. Miami's a better team. They win. Miami's going to win Florida every year for a while now until they have a crappy season again. That's just the way it happens. It's one of those states where someone's going to win that state, and right now I think it's going to be Miami for a little bit.
Yeah. So
we saw Florida State was winning it.
No.
Change of guard this year.
Florida State, Miami?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously Florida's been a huge battle, so I mean, you can have two good teams. Not saying you can't, obviously, but I think that gets into then about Jimbo Fisher and the rumors of him wanting to jump to A&M. I still don't understand it. I guess if you want to go with the argument of, Miami is kind of taken over, but I don't know, man. I still feel like Florida State's he won a national championship there. Why leave? I mean, yeah, one down year, and yeah, you need to fix that O-line, but your good QB got hurt, and he'll be back. I'm just so confused about that. That's just tough to me because, I mean, not saying that obviously A&M you get Texas recruiting, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, I guess they'll throw a lot of money at him, but do you really want to have to face Auburn, Alabama, LSU every year, or would you rather? Not saying the ACC is bad, but you haven't Miami and Rising and Clemson, so you have your good teams that you'll have to face, and a nice path. You have a path.
By the way, first time here at We Talk Sports Good, we had to ban our first user. We're not going to let y'all talk like that in the comments. That's ridiculous.
Play nice, people.
Calm down, people. Good Lord.
Oh, how would, before we keep going on coaching rankings, this is interesting. How would USF and UCF do in the Big 12? I think they fit.
That's interesting.
I think they would fit well.
They would. High octane offense.
Yep. I think they'd fit well.
Yeah. That'd actually be fun.
I could see about an Oklahoma State level.
That would be a fun add USF or UCF. I don't think they would add both.
No.
But you add one, and then you add a Houston. That would be a fun couple of teams to add to that Big 12 to me.
Yeah. I think they would this year's USF and UCF team, this year's team, could pull an Oklahoma State type record this year.
Okay.
Because of their talent they have this year. Flowers leaving. I don't know. I don't know. UCF, I don't know. Future. They do have a lot more pieces at stake. But like this year, I think they could have made a good run this year. Had a nice year. 9-3 type team, maybe. No.
That would actually be. I have never thought about picking from. I've thought about picking from Louisiana. I've thought about picking from maybe like in Arkansas or someone like that. But I've never thought to go to the Florida section because if we're gonna pick a team from West Virginia,
well, yeah, they have West Virginia in there.
It doesn't matter. A Florida team. That's not a bad idea. I like that.
Yeah, they say add them both, and then you get the rivalry too, though.
Yeah,
hey, if you want to go with the Houston, screw it. You're not Big 12. You'll be the Big 14. I mean, you're Big 12 and you're 10 teams. Let's go Big 14. Add both Florida, add Houston. Now you got to find someone else there, but hey, why not? Go big, right?
A&M, come back home. Come back
That's
home.
Not happening.
We want to whoop y'all every year again. Come back.
Yeah. Yeah, UCF does obviously this harder schedule. Yeah, that's what they're going to have to do because
we got a comment. 32 team playoff. Get rid of the bowl games. So here's the problem with that. You do a 32 team playoff. You're cutting like half of the regular season.
Yeah,
they can't play that many games.
A lot of games they'll have to cut.
Yeah, Jimbo's not going to A&M. I refuse to believe that.
I mean, it's the same with the stinking Gundy rumors, man. It's like
I think it's worse than the Gundy rumors.
It's like, well, when I say that is, it's like they will get him, or there's no chance ever they're getting him. I don't know. It's weird. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So I said it in our group text the other day. There's two things that I can see happening. That he would leave to go to A&M. One, A&M is. I'm not saying A&M has a lot of money, but so does Florida State. Florida State has a lot of money, but maybe A&M is just willing to pay him more than Florida State is.
Yeah.
Or if he leaves, maybe there's something going on at Florida State and behind the scenes that we don't know about. That is not. Maybe he pulls a little Pete Carroll situation. Maybe something's going down that we don't know about. Pete Carroll jumps ship, goes to the NFL, doesn't have to deal with it.
Yeah. But I feel like he would have to get out of NCAA football if that's the case, like Pete Carroll.
This guy will not quit on South Alabama.
I know. I saw. Okay, I get it.
It's good stuff.
You're doing it because I said the head-to-head win. I get it. You're using that against me, but I'm saying head-to-head because that's what the committee has said. His argument: South Alabama beat Troy, Troy beat LSU, LSU beat Syracuse, Syracuse beat Clemson, and Clemson's number one. Hey, you know what? I saw something that. No, I saw it. It was his comment actually. Gotcha. But the thing is, I saw the same thing with. They did something where they went with Auburn beating Bama, and they went all the way back to like a D. They went to D3 because they went from like an FCS team that beat an FBS team, and they went to a D2 that beat an FCS, and then they like 4 different D2s, and then like they actually had like TLU in there, Texas Lutheran in there, and still lost. Like,
well, then UMHB's D1 champs, baby.
Yeah, then UMHB's in there. So
let's go.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my end of your South Alabama. I'm not. There's too much. It's fun to see like all those like wins and like track it back to see how weird you can get. But yeah, I see. That's also why I think Jimbo on this comment. DeAndre Francois has a lot of potential. It's incredible. Yeah, it definitely is.
Beginning of the season, I said Francois was going to win the Heisman.
Yeah, he was one of my dark horse guys.
Heisman winner, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. He's got a good recruiting base in there. He's been in Florida State a long time. Even with this year, everyone's been very forgiving on like this year. I mean, the O-line's been bad, and they're not like, oh, you didn't recruit O-line. They're like, all right, you're going to fix it. Like that's another argument we can go with. The rotating coaches, like that's what you need to do. Like, yeah, he had a bad year, but guess what? You know, it happens. Sometimes something goes wrong. There you go, though. You trust your coach. Trust him to turn around. You have history with him that have won. Just don't give up right away on him like we see everywhere. The Nick Saban effect here, man. Nick Saban effect knocking out coaches' jobs left and right. That's just crazy. Everyone wants to be. But look at the past national champions. It's not like we've had like a bunch of random schools getting in. It's everywhere. It's been a very consistent group, and you got to let someone build something up before you just knock it right down. Bad hires and stuff. I'm not saying that can't happen and you need to get rid of it when you can, but it's not like Nick Saban won first year at Alabama. Just saying.
Yeah.
He was at Michigan State. Are we going to forget about that? It's not like he was a national champion at Michigan State.
Let's see. We got how do you feel about Kerryon Johnson's shoulder injury? He's day-to-day right now, right? Am I remembering that right?
I believe so, what I saw. But
I mean, if it's more significant than we know.
I still think even if he couldn't play, I think they would actually have a decent
chance.
I think they have a still. I like Jared Stidham a lot. I know I've said that from the beginning of the year. That's why I've liked Auburn as a good team for this year, because I like Stidham and he's definitely fit. He's definitely fitting in a lot better right now. So even without him, I would take Stidham over Fromm. So if it came down to a shootout or maybe like a back and forth drives at the end of the game, not a shootout necessarily, I'm picking Stidham even without Johnson. So or sit him over from in that situation if it came down to something like that.
So, okay, I think this is the third. He's saying literally just get rid of out of conference games, only keep one out of conference game maybe, and 8 conference games, championship game. That's 10 games, then 32 playoff makes 14 to 15 games a team. You can't do 14. I feel like that's
Yeah, the thing is, if you're going that big, there's also a lot more than just getting rid of the out-of-conference games because of how much money is involved.
Yeah, you're going into finance when you start messing with that.
Yeah, the problem is when you start doing that, if you're going to do that, we're going to have to start cutting teams out of D1 FBS.
And if you do that, you're saying cut every non-conference game except for one. What happens to the independent schools? Yeah. Independent schools thrive on people's non-conference.
They're going to be forced. They'll be forced to join a conference.
Yeah.
At that point. The thing is with that, all Sun Belt, all the Conference USA, they're going to get knocked. They're going to have to go FCS because they aren't going to have the money to fuel a program at a D1 level because there's a lot of money riding on playing Bama's and LSU's and Michigan and Ohio States and even Texas and OU. Like, there's a lot of money that rides. That's a budget right there. So getting rid of all out of conference games, you would see a lot of programs having a lot of troubles then.
Yep.
Why not take a conference champs of each Power 5, the ACC, and 2 wild cards? Yeah. I don't know if anyone's missed it. I've been a 6-team person from the beginning. That's just my thing. 1, 2, get by. Gives you the opportunity to pick all 4 power conferences or all 5 power conferences in a wild card if you want. But that's just my thing. That's why I've been 6. I don't want to get too big because you're watering things down. 8, I feel like 8 you have to cap. You have to cap 18. A 32 playoff system would allow Sunbelt AAC to flourish. No, it really does. It really does. I mean, you have to look at the money. The money would not allow them to. They can't travel like that either.
No, and just in case anyone doesn't know, we either said it last week or the week before. Whenever a team gets into a bowl game or the college football playoff or a national championship, whatever it is, they split these tickets down the middle. One school gets half, the other school gets the other half. You can't sell your half, so what? Too bad, you lose money. I mean,
the school has to buy them.
Yeah, they have to. It's theirs. They buy them. Half of them goes to one team, half of them goes to the other. If you can't sell them, that's not our problem. You lost money. That's why. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I don't have specifics, but I am positive at some point there's been a football team that's a small school that they got offered a bowl game and they were like, "Look, man, we can't afford it. We'll sit it out." I'm positive that's happened before.
Oh yeah, it has.
There's just too much money at stake to make this huge playoff system. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I do want to get to Miami beat Clemson. Can they do it? Yes, because Miami will not. Okay, I'm not saying Miami will. Let me backtrack on that real quick. I think Clemson will win. Dabo has set his team really well. I was really, I've obviously been a huge Miami person this whole time, wanting to see the U get back. Rozier, I think it more becomes on Rozier. He has a lot of flaws that have been exposed. It's been exposed, not saying it hasn't. Dabo's teams don't turn it over that off. I mean, I guess Bryant does have some interceptions, but Dabo can run a game plan to avoid that. I'm not saying Miami doesn't have a chance, though, because this is a primetime game. Big lights, big stage. That's where they're huge. So, if I'm going to have to pick, I would have to go with Clemson, but not ruling out Miami at all. At all.
I think Miami wins.
Okay.
I mean, I've been going for them all year, man. It's hard for me not to pick them. I love the turnover chain. And I like that Miami's coming back. I think we need some of these teams to come back in order to bring down Alabama. Yeah. I'm tired of Alabama being there every frickin' year. We need Miami to come back. We need Texas to come back. We need, as much as I hate it, a USC to come back strong. UCLA come back strong, which I think they very well might. I want to see some variety. And I know everyone else is too. I haven't seen the ratings, but I mean, granted, the Clemson-Alabama game past 2 years have been great. Great. Amazing. But I don't want to see it again. I don't need to see a grudge match. I don't need to see it a third time. I'm good. Give me someone else. Give me someone new.
All right. So with that, we are going to close off with some conference championship picks. We'll start off with the Pac-12 since they're on that Friday night. Stanford, USC.
Oh, man. I am actually going to go with Stanford. Okay. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm not a huge Darnold fan. Anyone who's been watching knows that. I don't think he's as good as everyone thinks he is. And Bryce Love, going Stanford. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. I'll go with USC. I think they've been sneaking their way. It'll be a close game. I think they'll win it. Not pretty, but I think they'll win it. I think Jones being hitting it off pretty well lately. I think he'll be a big thing. Here's a great game. Watch it, people. Memphis at UCF.
Yeah.
I think we're both Knights here. I think
definitely.
I think they're gonna.
I think it's gonna be a good game though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shootout.
I think I said it like last week or something like that in the NFL talk because the quarterback that was on Memphis and he's on Denver now, blanking on his name.
Lynch. Paxton Lynch.
Yes, Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch was at that Memphis team right now versus this UC. Oh man, that would be fun.
70-70.
That would be fun.
I think we'll go to the Big 12 game. We'll go to the Big 12. TCU OU. Do you have TCU getting a little revenge here? What's your chances on that? Because I think we're both OU here. I think they're fired up right now. I know their defense obviously hasn't been the best.
TCU fired up or OU?
OU fired up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we're both picking OU. But I'll go with this then. Chances for TCU.
My only chance for TCU is either one, if Baker gets hurt, or two, if Baker just has a freak bad game. Something happens. His girlfriend breaks up with him that night or something. Something weird happens and he just has a really bad game. He's just too good right now, man. He's too good. We haven't talked Heisman talk in weeks.
Well,
and it's because it's been it's been locked down for weeks. Baker is by far the best college football player right now. He's a beast. And to be completely honest, at this point, I think anyone would be stupid to pick Rosen or Darnold ahead of him. I said it. I said it. I hate OU.
Yeah, I know you do. I have Baker over Darnold right now. I still like. I've watched Rosen.
Do you have Rosen, Baker, Darnold?
Yeah. From what I've seen, I think Baker in the right mold with the right coach can be a Russell Wilson-esque type guy. Darnold or not Darnold? I don't know. Darnold, I don't know. I think he would help to stay here. Rosen, what I've seen out of him,
he's gone.
With the injuries that he's had on his offense and what he still does, man, he throws an amazing, just accurate ball and a great deep ball. I don't know. He's smart. Like he is a smart guy. Like I know he had those interesting comments at the beginning of the year, but football smarts, he is very, very good. And he can make changes at the line, and he's in college. That's not usually a thing. They let him do a lot, and that's why I think that's why I have him one. But all right, I'll stop. I'll move on. SEC championship, Georgia, Auburn, revenge game.
This rides a lot on Carry-On's injury to me, but either way, I think Georgia wins this. I had been calling all year that Alabama and Georgia were going to meet in the SEC championship. Both I said, what did I say? Did I say Georgia was going to have a one loss or something like that?
I think Georgia going in undefeated and then just losing.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I think I've liked Georgia all season, and I'm going Georgia. I think they make that college football playoff.
I'll flip. I like Sidham more than Fromm. Regardless, if Kerryon Johnson, that just helps even more. If not, I still like Sidham enough to pick Auburn.
We got a Georgia fan in the comments with the Go Dogs, and every time I hear that, I think of the Georgia Kid. Please tell me you've seen Georgia Kid, all painted white, and he yells at Spurrier.
Yeah,
Spurrier, you think buzzers are cool? It's great, good stuff.
Yeah, I'll still have to go with Auburn though. I just like they are playing hot right now, and that's a good time at this point of the year to do that. We'll go ACC, Miami, Clemson. I think I know we both said it. I'm going to have to pick Clemson, though, just because I think experience weighs in this situation.
It's all about the U.
If Miami wins, I will be ecstatic. Nothing against Clemson. I like how Dabo's been running his program. I will be rooting for Miami to win, but if not, I would understand why.
Yeah.
That's why I picked Clemson.
I'm just calling, man. I think this is it. I think Miami is officially back with this. If anyone didn't think they were back yet, this win seals it. They go into the college football playoffs, and who knows, they might upset some people.
So we'll go to the Big Ten championship game. Closing out on the big championship games, Ohio State versus Wisconsin. This is the time Wisconsin can finally maybe earn that respect that no one's been giving them.
Man, I'll tell you what. I really, really want to pick Wisconsin. I can't do it.
You can't do it?
I can't do it. I'm picking Ohio State.
Okay. Wisconsin. On Wisconsin.
Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely rooting for Wisconsin. 100% rooting for Wisconsin. But I can't see it happening, man.
Yep. I don't ever root, and I don't want to pick Ohio State. So,
right.
On Wisconsin. I think the defense, and Taylor, if Taylor starts going off, Ohio State defense, I mean, they've been, I don't know if you want to, I don't know what you want to say with them. Also, is JT Barrett going to be playing? I think he'll be fine. The whole cameraman incident. I'm not so sure on this. I'm still not so sure on this whole cameraman thing. Man, I don't know about this. Whole Urban Meyer's out hunting for this cameraman. I don't know. He looked fine, honestly. Michigan's defense was just starting out very hot, and they were taking advantage of the line of scrimmage. I think they just put Barrett in a bad situation all game. And I was shown by someone that is an Ohio State fan that there was a play that kind of looked like he might have – that's when he might have tweaked his knee, actually, during the game.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I don't think some rogue cameraman was out on a hit mission, but you know what? I won't throw it past Harbaugh at the same time.
Ooh.
I kid, though. I don't think Harbaugh would do that.
What are your how much time are you giving Harbaugh left?
Look, I'm fine. I understand the whole they haven't beat big rivals, all this. I'm still giving Harbaugh plenty of time, man. Look, Michigan hasn't been that – let's be honest, and I'll be honest with this. It's hard to say. Michigan hasn't been good in a long time. It's been since Lloyd Carr. And even then, they still weren't as good as they should have been. Harbaugh's bringing in recruiting classes. He came in with like a week, maybe not even a week before signing day, and he came in with barely – and that recruiting class was weak because it just didn't have a lot of depth in it. Now he's starting to get his guys in. They're returning a lot of guys on both sides of the ball. This year, they lost like 9 of their 11 starters. This year, they're only losing 2 on defense. Their whole offense is basically returning except for quarterback. Spates is looking for a grad transfer. O'Corn's just done because he grad transferred in. Good. Now we're going to see Peters versus Dylan McCaffrey as a QB battle. 2 guys at Harbaugh. Dylan McCaffrey Yes, that is Christian McCaffrey's younger brother, a top dual threat quarterback who redshirted this year. Peters and McCaffrey, both guys Harbaugh really liked and really wanted. Now we're seeing him get his QB he wanted with wide receivers like Peoples-Jones, who is a top receiver, now set in and not losing anyone on. They are losing Higdon, but they still have running back depth with Evans. He still had a great year this year too. So I'm perfectly fine. He's putting together a good team. He had 2 10-win years and then the 8-win. I mean, man, he's putting Michigan back on the map. Michigan was down and out. I mean, they weren't even in a conversation. Now he's bringing them in conversation. Yeah, he needs to start winning these big games, but this is my whole thing about giving up on coaches too soon. You can't. You gotta let him keep building. He's, like I said, he's making Michigan a name again. Like we talk past years, Michigan has at least been brought up. They hadn't been for a while. So I'm perfectly fine with giving him as much. I'm still giving him another. I would rather see a coach let him stick it out and just let him keep doing his thing, and and he's the type of guy. He's a Michigan guy. Like he has, who else are they going to go out and get? Either. Like, what's an improvement for Harbaugh? I mean, you're not getting. Who are you getting then that's going to change and do better than what he's doing right now?
Right.
What coach is going to be come in and be like, "Yep, I'm going to win Ohio State if you hire me"? No, I mean, just let him do it. They were a couple inches away from beating Ohio. Oh gosh, he has the inside track on him with the defense coordinator, I guess. But I mean, hey, they were inches away last year from winning. They were freaking O'Corn not missing like 10 open guys from at least putting up more points. I'm just saying, it's not like they were terrible these last 2 years versus Ohio State.
I've got an idea.
Michigan State needs to switch. They need to start beating Michigan State.
For Michigan if he gets fired.
All right.
And bear with me here.
All right.
Head coach, Petrino.
Oh, no, please, no.
Bear with me. No. Offensive coordinator, Art Briles.
Oh, my gosh, stop
Greg
it.
Schiano, defensive coordinator.
Stop it. No.
The golden squad of coaches.
Oh, my. That'd be, oh, my gosh. I do actually want to throw a name. Not saying that they should switch to him. Les Miles.
Why is no one?
Where is he? Where is Les Miles? I know we said we were going to close out on conference championship. Yes, so ESPN trails him around, puts him in a trailer, and goes to wherever sites with him at the SEC places, and they just let him go eat grass. And then, all right, come on, Les Miles, let's get back to the studio. Where has his name been? No one's even throwing it out there.
You know who I'm surprised? Because apparently it doesn't matter if you have been retired for years or say you want to stay retired or anything. With all that being said, Gruden's name gets brought up every year. We're seeing Herm Edwards. Herm Edwards hadn't coached in forever.
At least he's actually interviewing.
Yeah, Herm Edwards hadn't coached in forever. I'm surprised no one's brought up, even if it's false, because it seems like they give some false reports sometimes. I'm surprised no one's brought up Mac Brown.
Yeah, shoot.
He's had a great career.
Yeah. I guess he's done. Les Miles isn't okay. Les Miles is.
I thought Herm Edwards was completely done.
Herm Edwards.
Tony Dungy, maybe. I don't know.
I saw this as a joke. I don't think this was actual real. When someone said the NFL experience for Arizona State, someone's like, "Are they going to go get Jeff Fisher? They can't go 7-9."
Oh,
that'd be terrible. Don't hire Fisher. Don't do it.
Fisher does not deserve to be a head coach anymore. Yeah. He's had plenty of chances.
I'm just saying, Les Miles is a very confusing thing for me.
You know what? Who would be really fun to see as a head coach in college football, and it's because he brought so much intensity at the NFL level, and I just don't think NFL can handle that much intensity as a head coach. Mike Singletary. He would be fun, and you know where he could go?
Where?
Little quiz. I don't know if you know where he went to college, but he went to the University of Baylor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
Give that man the Baylor job. Even though it's not up for grabs now, but
yeah, nothing. Mark Rule has he has as much time as he needs right now for a while.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Him and Singletary in college football would be really, really fun to watch, just based on that intensity. He gives a little bit of Muschamp intensity.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I'm just saying, college coaching is just a mess right now. It is crazy. So I'll cut up myself off because I know we could keep going on that. And thank you for everyone that has watched this nice long one, but plenty of viewers. All of you new subscribers out there, definitely all you new subscribers out there. Thank you. Shout out to all of you. I saw the little thing popping up. I was really happy to see that.
Almost doubled our subscribers in like one night.
I know they're doing it on a Sunday next ranking, so it might be a little tougher. So
I think we can.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll probably be able to.
I was gonna say, if anything, it might just be Randell and a guest. We'll see.
It'll be. Is it this Sunday?
It is this Sunday. Yeah.
I'll be able to make it.
Okay. Well, then we'll have one. I'm not sure if I'll be there.
Me and somebody.
Yeah.
Me and somebody will be here.
Yeah. So we'll have one then, and I'm sure even we'll maybe do some a couple times in the bowl season. And if we do some during the bowl season, that will give us more opportunity to talk about these other things that.
Yeah, maybe we'll try to put up some short videos. We can do a little preview of each bowl game, maybe like a little 3-minute something. I don't know. We'll see what we can do. We'll think of some things. Yeah, tweet us. Yeah. Tweet us your suggestions at We Talk Sport Good, not sports. Twitter's rude and mean and.
If you search the full name, it'll still come up because that's the name, not the handle, though, at least. So, but follow us on Twitter. Send questions. We'll use the questions for shows, or if it's one that we can answer. If it's one just to answer right there, we'll answer it right there. But we'll try to save questions for the shows. We have a Facebook as well. So, like I said, all you guys that have already subscribed, thank you for all the subscriptions. And
we'll be back tomorrow. We do.
Yep.
NFL every Wednesday night, 6 o'clock.
And our third member, Thomas, will be there. You'll get to hear Thomas's fact of the day at the beginning and Thomas's tweet of the week.
Please stay till the end of that show.
That's a fun one. It's just I guess I'll tell you. Obviously, it's Thomas goes and digs and finds an old tweet from. Or it doesn't even have to be old. It's an old tweet though from a past or current player in any sport. And they're quite interesting. We have to guess who they are.
Absurd. And we guess who did it.
They are very fun.
And there's always the fun back and forth between me and Thomas because we don't get along a lot. So there you go.
So, tune in for that tomorrow. That's NFL. And we'll, like I said, we'll probably have we'll have a college football show going Sunday.
Yeah.
So there you go. We got a schedule set up. So there you go. Thank you for new subscribers. And viewers today, thank you, and have a good night.